if your product saves time and money, eventually it will make money. That's the golden rule I use with my partners when we scale our SaaS products together. As long as the person who you are selling to understands that it's a good deal for them, they will make a purchase. I'd like to showcase this rule on the example of the Feedbucket app, the product which I recently scaled with one founder I partnered with. The founder has a background in freelancing and web development. He used to spend a lot of time working with client feedback, and that's how he decided to ship the product, which would make it easier for web developers to get client feedback from their clients. At first, we weren't sure who our ideal buyers are. We were thinking about freelance web developers, agencies, and companies. After making 20 sales, it appeared that the web agencies seemed to convert easiest. I'll explain why. Unlike freelancers without many projects and big companies which we didn't understand that well, what happened with web agencies is that agencies that didn't have project managers, they still needed to do project management. They understood how much time it costs them how much time they invest into working with client feedback each week. And we offered the product which allowed them to save 6 hours every week, and that cost them not as much money. Let's say that they used to run these meetings with clients and invite 4 people into them. All these four people who were sitting at the meeting cost an agency roughly $100 an hour each. That's $400 an hour multiplied by 6 hours a week, $2,400. And then we multiplied by 4 to get the amount of money they were spending a month on their client meetings. What we did is we offered the product which cost them less than they were spending and basically made the entire workflow more efficient. That's how we got our first customers. It's best for a SaaS idea to be built on the founder's own experience. Let's say I want to launch a SaaS that would help gardeners grow tomatoes. I've never grown a tomato myself and I don't understand much about the field. What does it mean? It means that it would require me to do the extra 20 to 25 meetings talking with gardeners to understand the workflow of growing tomatoes, to find the right, first of all, to find if there is any problem at all, and then to understand what is the solution that should be shipped to them. As I have no idea how to grow tomatoes, it would be highly likely if I come up with a product before doing these meetings, it will be useless for them because I understand little about gardeners, and that's why I would, in case I ship the product now, it's a very low chance I'll succeed. However, if I make the product that helps people who are starting on YouTube, let's say influencers who are starting on YouTube, monetize their audience in different ways, I will have a very higher chance of success. The difference between me doing the SaaS for growing tomatoes and me doing a SaaS to solve my own problem is that in first one, I'm not sure there is any problem at all to start with. And secondly, I will have to rely on other people's feedback in order to grow my startup. Of course, you always rely on your customers' feedback to scale your startup. However, it's one story if you use their ideas to help you, and the other one if you've got no clue how to basically help them better, and every single time you have to go back to understand what's going on in the market. This situation reminds me of another case which happened in recently. The guy had a background of a full stack engineer, and he came to me from his job in Google to partner with me to grow his SaaS startup. We were choosing between two ideas when we were just starting. The first one was Twitter analytics to do marketing better. And the second one would help full stack engineers with front end. In the first case, we would be working on a Twitter analytics product. Meanwhile, we never did Twitter analytics ourselves. And this founder, he never did marketing on Twitter. I decided to shift this to another idea he had in mind. Two main reasons for this are that he struggled with building a sexy user interface as a full stack engineer, and he spent countless hours fighting all this procedure. What it meant for us? It meant there is a problem that we would be solving. And as long as he spent weeks solving this problem himself, it's a very high chance that there are many other full stack engineers facing a similar problem. And the second factor why we chose to pick this product is in the case of us working on this Twitter analytics, we would have to rely on calls with other people who, like marketers doing Twitter, to understand what we need to build. And that's a very huge factor, which creates the entire bridge from you now and to you, a successful SaaS founder. When you are solving your own problem, you don't have to run as many calls to understand what features you should be building. I've got this example with IKEA. Ingrid, the founder of IKEA, he couldn't find the kitchen which he liked. That's why he made his own one and started selling it to other people. I am sure that IKEA would not go as big if this guy did this kitchen for someone else first, while he never needed one. So, when you are picking a SaaS idea, you highly increase your success chances if you are solving your own problem, because as long as you solve your own problem with your SaaS, it's a matter of time until you find other people facing the similar issue. And secondly, make sure that your SaaS idea saves time and money, because the easier it is for you to show other people the comparison of how much they're spending on an issue now and how much they will be spending after they buy your product, the easier it is to explain it, the easier it is to convert them. We didn't have that huge success with feedback selling it to freelance web developers, because many of them didn't have a lot of projects and didn't value their time as much. They could spend a couple hours watching Netflix, playing video games and other stuff. However, when it came to web agencies, we were speaking to founders of these agencies, and it immediately clicked for them that, okay, if I can turn 6 hours I'm spent 6 hours I'm spending on client feedback a week into half an hour, that means I save this amount of money. The easier it is for you to deliver this message, the easier it is for you to scale. What I do is I run a founder transformation program where I help founders turn their SaaS products into money printers. If you feel that I can help you, please go to my website and apply. Let me make it easier for me to find you. If you feel that this video was valuable, don't forget to like it. And I'll be uploading dozens more videos on how to grow startups and SaaS products in particular. So subscribe to my channel and I'll see you here soon.